Okay, here we are once again at Precision Transmissions trying to figure out a problem for a customer's transmission that it keeps overheating. He's had it back at the place that built it 3 times. It keeps overheating. This is a turbocharged Ford Mustang application. We pull the input shaft out and I noticed a problem right off the bat that I'm almost 90% this is a problem that's going on. This input shaft here, anytime you use these single ring input shafts, they're dumping cooler line pressure out this hole in this shaft right here. And instead of sending 100% of your cooler line flow through your cooler out and coming back as lubrication oil, as cold oil, they're dumping 50% of it right here. And this is a kind of a reason why they kind of do it, is what they do is they loosen the pressure up right here in this right here, which lets the converter stall quicker and let the motor come up on RPM better to leave the starting line. Well, that's okay and fine if you got a car that's not turbocharged and you're bracket racing or something, and you're going to tow the car back to the trailer and that's it. I mean, with a four-wheeler. So you got a shaft here like this one that has got 2 rings on it that seals the lubrication circuit to where it pressures up and forces all the fluid through the cooler and back, where this one here dumps 50% of it, the pressure, right back into the pan and does it that way. Well, here's one here. This is, I got my transmission apart in my turbo car. This is my shaft here. It's got a big lube hole all the way through the end through here, but it has no rings. And why is because where the rings are is the weak link where this shaft will twist off. Even though this shaft is rated at 1,500 horsepower, if it breaks, it's going to break down in here where it is square cut at this ring. Same way with here, where this shaft here has no rings. And what we do in here, this is an aftermarket pump. They go in here and put bushings down in this pump right here to act like rings and seal it here to here to force the cooler line pressure to go all the way through the cooler. You can see these bushings right here down in here. See? Where this shaft right here uses the rings to seal, which is a good shaft. This one's rated about 1,130 horsepower. This one's rated at 2,500 horsepower. I don't know what this one's rated at. I'll just know when we get them in there, we throw them away and put a decent shaft in them. But that's what that looks like. Now, being that this is an aftermarket pump, it does have a bearing right here. It has high pressure rings on it. The pump has been machined down to allow for this thicker bearing, and where normally you would have a washer right here. So this does upgrade the pump stability and stuff like that. Now, also, anytime you're building a Powerglide, you have high pressure rings that you always want to use, and they do make a metal ring right here. You never want to use. You can see it's metal. You can break it. See, it breaks. Well, that won't handle hardly no pressure. Well, this ring right here will handle 240, 250 pounds of pressure. Same way with these rings right here. You need to run high pressure rings if you're running a ring shaft, because they do make metal rings again that will break, and they just will not hold any pressure. 90% this is his problem. We're going to go ahead and tear down the transmission real quick and make sure that it is not hurt or any form, fashion, or way. I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can for you guys. It's crazy that he's had this transmission back at the shop that did this so many times and then never took that input shaft out, knowing that it was a turbocharged application. Anytime you get a turbo car up on boost and you're stuttering and you're bumping in, you need all that cooler flow you can get right then, right, just to keep it cool. I'm going to take this apart kind of different ways to kind of make it a little faster. So we want to check through here and make sure he hasn't burned anything up, and also look and see how this thing has been assembled Because he gave us really good money for this. But he's, like I said, it's lived in the tranny shop more than the car, and they've just never got this situation. I'm just shocked, like I said, they would put that type of input shaft in behind a turbo car. This is your tranny brake button here. I just removed. There's a little valve right in here that comes out too. When you push the tranny brake, come out of there. When you push the tranny brake, you get this valve that goes in, and then you let off, it pops back out like that. And that's how the car leaves the starting line. I've been doing these transmissions a long time, probably about 38 years. And I can spot a problem with somebody else's build. I enjoy doing that more than anything, because I've had them all apart so many times. So many different versions. From Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Subaru, Toyota. It doesn't matter. They're all different in their own ways. Doesn't look too trashy. But you can tell the fluid. You get transmission fluid is clear. There's no color to it at all. They come in there and put a red dye in it, basically, so you can see the fluid when you check it on your dipstick. Other than that, it's clear. So, but you can see the dye. That'll be the first thing to go on these trains when they get hot, like that. They'll cook the dye right out of the fluid. So, this is a really nice unit the guy bought. Looks really nice, but like I said, I'm really shocked that they put that input shaft behind a turbo car. I'd have never thought of that. Been doing that. This is the valve body that controls the shifting and the trans brake and stuff like that. This is basically park. When you put it in park, this lever moves, the shaft will turn, lock in, like that. Now the shaft won't turn, so that's your park. And then this moves and clicks through here for your different, reverse, neutral, drive, or low, or whatever like that. We're going to check his band adjustment to make sure that it is set correctly. Get this apart like that real quick. And then usually 3.5 to 4 turns is where we normally get these at. That's 2. There's 3. See, that to me is tight. No less than 3.5. I mean, 4 is normally, if you got a band that's got a little bit of wear, do 3.5. Never 3. That's just way too tight. So, but that wasn't his issue for the unit to get hot. But basically, I believe the input shaft was the problem. But we're going to go through here and just make sure everything is in good shape, because I don't want him to have any issues with this thing. We just did a Powerglide a week or so ago for a gentleman, and that on about a 4-year build on his Mustang, and we got it going for him. He goes out and wins his first race. He was so excited. So excited. Been fighting tranny issues all this time. Same here. You can see the roller bearing they put in here, which they make different versions. You can see this is looks like this, and this one here is just a flat bearing with a spate, which they did shim it. Does have high pressure rings. Get this apart here. See if the gears look like. Still look really nice. No pitting, no tearing, no pulling on the gears here or anything like that. That's normally what you'll see on these. They've come a long way on how strong these gears are here because they've changed them so many times. Let me get this out of here. If I can get it out of here. See if I can get that dude out of there now. There we go. We're going to look at everything for him and see what he paid for is what he got. Got a 10 clutch drum, got the thick drum, or hub, I mean, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wow. Only got a 6 clutch